Okay, well, this is part two of 4 ways to increase your email effectiveness. It's not 1990 anymore, so we need to get up to speed with the times. As part two comes along, this is actually going to talk about copywriting. Oh, snap. Well, first of all, just keep copywriting simple. One of the things I like to talk about when it comes to copywriting is people make a really big deal about it, and it's actually a lot easier than you think. Basically, when it comes to copywriting for email, you want to keep everything easy to read and understand. I like to keep the principle, keep it at a 7th grade reading level or less, because that's best. You want to keep everything simple. Always try to keep things simple for people. You're here to help people. You want to offer services or provide products or whatever the case may be, and you're trying to help people out. So you got to be able to talk to them, and you want to keep things simple. You don't want to talk about, some high evolving, I am a posh, I have exact, perfect, high vocabulary, and I am perfect in every way. You don't want to speak like that. You come off as a douche if you talk like that. You want to be cool. You want to, you want to connect with people. Be real. Be yourself. Be yourself. Copywriting is the same way. One of the things I heard one time from somebody who said this, I thought was really, really good, is when you write like you speak. And it'll come across the way you're trying to say it. Getting deeper into copywriting, there are actually some little scientific things out there on the internet, amazing enough, which actually I'll provide links for at the end of this presentation at the bottom of this video on my blog, spamspurt.com. And some of them are called like the Flesh Kincaid, the SMOG, the Gunnig fog. These are all different types of actual readability tests for whatever you're writing. So sometimes I do this with my blog post, as well as I know of other bloggers who've done it before. Like they'll write a post, and I'll write a post, and I'll try to say, okay, is this complicated, or I wonder how readable this is? Because to me it sounds readable, but it's like, how readable is it to other people? Because everybody's at different reading levels. My wife, she reads way faster than me. I can't keep up with that girl. Anyways, so I've done used a couple of tools, and you can see those links down there below the video, and you can check those out after the video. But I just I basically just copy your text, pop it in there, click submit button, and it gives you a reading, and it tells you how easily it's read, and gives you a scale to judge. If it's really high, it'll tell you. It'll say, hey, it's kind of high. It's pretty easy to figure out. Moving on, just want to say, don't overcomplicate things. I have 3 basic ideas try to keep in place. One is, quality is better than quantity. Do not write a huge, massive, long email if it's your first email to somebody. I made the mistake of doing this back a year or so ago. I created a how to avoid spamming, and how to educate yourself on being a good email marketer. I made a little email course, and the first email I sent out was like a book, and it was heavy reading. Now, granted, I gave them the warning at the very beginning that, all right, man, you've dug into something that's really deep and really important, and really, I'm going to go into detail here, and I gave it to them. But I didn't hear any complaints. Nobody complained that it was too hard to read, or they didn't get a lot out of it. So I guess it didn't go over too bad. But I don't recommend doing that. Of course, I set up the proper expectations before they bought it. I mean, they didn't buy it, but before they signed up for the course. Anyways, so I just recommend that try to write something of quality. Rather than putting in a bunch of text just to fill up space. If you've only got something to say that's a paragraph long, then just keep it to a paragraph. You can always elaborate, and you can always express and convey an idea. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But just make sure you put in good quality. Don't just put in blank, boring old quantity whenever you're writing stuff. As far as giving something valuable every time, do it every time. Whenever you send an email out, that email out is to convey an idea, to ask a question, to provide information, whatever the case may be. You want to give something that's valuable. You don't want to bore people. We get tons of emails every day. Every day, everyone gets on average probably 20, 50, 100 emails a day. And if they click on your email and they want to read it, they want to expect something to be good in there. Don't give them something that's not good. Try to give them something that has quality, but give them something that has value every time. There's a lot of people out there, or I'll just say there's some companies I know of that will regurgitate content, and they won't give unique, valuable stuff. They kind of have the same boring thing. They keep doing the same boring thing. And people get bored and they move on. They lose interest. You've got to keep things fresh. You got to keep things new. This is the internet age. If your web page isn't loading 15 in a second, people are going to move on. It's just kind of the way it goes. Especially with the internet. People are very impatient when it comes to computers. It's not like waiting at a doctor's office. They want it now. They want it to go. They want to move. They want to absorb your information. So give it to them. Lastly, put in a link. Every email should have at least one link. That link is important because now that you've talked about something, or you want to show them something, or you're asking them a question, or you want them to participate in a survey or something, give them a link to click on. There have been times that people have sent me emails and there were no links, and I wanted to do something, and there was nothing there. So just give them something to read. I'll also talk about later, you don't want to overdo the links. Don't give them a million links. There's people that have done that before too. Tell a story. Telling a story, people love stories. They are interesting. They're funny. They're exciting. Practical. There's all kinds of stories. Personal stories. Share about your life. Talk about you. Talk about your business. Talk about what you're going through. If you're writing something and you're sitting waiting in an airport terminal, tell them, I'm writing this email while I'm waiting in Chicago O'Hare Airport Terminal, bored out of my mind, and I came up with this great idea. Let me go on to explain. There you go. You've just opened up the email with the story about what you're doing right then and there at that moment. It connects you to the person who's reading. Like, wow, there's actually a real person behind this who's actually writing this. Make them feel like you're real. Get personal. Talk about yourself. It's kind of what I mentioned there. Some other ideas you can use for talking about yourself. In this video, I mentioned my wife. She's a faster reader than me. Talk about stuff like that. There's not that you have to get too personal. You don't want to freak people out or anything, but just talk about yourself. Just mention things. You're not. None of us are perfect. None of us do everything right. We're not all like know everything. There's things that we all have faults. We all are human. So own up to it. There's no point in putting yourself at some high elevated platform or anything like that. Just talk about yourself. Get personal a little bit. People like that. They connect better with you when they know that you're a real person and that you're not some fluffy dude. Then they'll like, wow, this guy's actually real. He's actually not like a douchebag or anything like that. 2 ways as far as to increase sales. This is something I learned a little while ago. Acquisition and or verse conversion. There are 2 ways to increase your sales, and email marketing is one way to do that. However, you have to think of things in a couple of different perspectives when you have acquisition versus conversion. So, for example, you want to acquiring new leads can increase your sales. Makes sense, right? If you get more leads, you have the chance of increasing your sales. But it's expensive and time consuming. Actually, I don't know the average statistic off the top of my head, but basically, most businesses out there, most people who have small businesses or trying to get even big companies, large companies, they'll say that it's really expensive to acquire a new customer. really expensive. It can be 7 times the amount of whatever it is. I mean, it could be a large amount of money just to acquire one new person. However, if you can improve conversion, you can also increase your sales. What do I mean by improving conversion? Improving conversion means that you tweak things, you test things. So for example, let's say you send an email out. I don't know, however large your list is. You send half the email, list with the subject line that says one thing, and the other half an email that says something else. You're doing what a lot of internet marketers call split testing or testing. So you're like, all right, what does email A do versus email B? Which one converted better? Which one got me more clicks on the link that I sent in the email? They had the same content in the body, but the subject line was different. So let's compare open rates. Let's compare click-throughs. That's how you improve conversion. Like, wow, this one got a lot more clicks and a lot more opens than the other one. So we definitely want to keep that subject line. That's the kind of idea for improving conversion. Because the advantage is that it's cheaper and it's simpler. That's one of the advantages of conversion. By increasing your conversion, you can increase your sales. By increasing your leads, you can increase your sales. But acquiring a new lead is much more expensive. Converting older leads is, they're already there, so converting them over to a sale or something like that is much easier than vice versa. Lastly, this is probably the last slide here for part 2 of this video. Use your link gun. That's what I kind of say. Pull it out. Every email should give valuable information, which I've already talked about, and I can't emphasize that enough. Give something really good to people. Give them a link to get the information, or get more information. Find out more here, or ask your questions here, or fill out this survey or something along those lines. Don't use a shotgun when a sniper rifle is what you need. I mentioned this earlier, that whenever you write an email, I've had people that I've worked with before in the past that have created emails and they've had like 10 links on one email. Granted, there's nothing wrong with that as long as you realize your customer base, your target market, who you're giving, what expectations they have from your emails. But a lot of times, that from what I've discovered, that the more links you put in there, the harder it is to actually get a click, because people get indecisive. Like, well, this looks good. Oh, that looks good. Oh, ooh, that looks really good too. Or, well, let me click on this one. And they click on one, but there's also like 3 other ones that they might have been interested in, or that for some reason they were compelled to click on that one, and then you're getting all this, different feedback from different clicks, and you can track all that. That's great and all. But sometimes people will just click one link and they get distracted and won't click any other links. So it's easier if you can keep things simpler. Give them 1 or 2 links or 3. Don't try to overwhelm them with a whole bunch of links to click. Anyways, well, I appreciate you watching the video. This is Jared Kimball with Spamspert.com. If you have any questions, feel free to post them on the blog and ask down in the comments below. Also, go ahead and follow me on Twitter. I'm at Jared Kimball. You can find me pretty easily there. And, get my free ebook. I wrote it myself. It's 21 days to increase, to basically become a more effective email marketer. It's right over there on the side, and feel free to download it. And I'll probably put a link down at the bottom too. Anyways, we'll signing off. This is the end of part 2. Stay tuned for part 3 and part 4. Hope you enjoyed it. Talk to you later.